Every time you judge another in any way or form, you're really looking at a piece of the self that you're not yet happy with. So you don't be judging, because you're just further imprisoning yourself in a story that has no basis in reality whatsoever.
I was on the beach today and I was thinking about a couple weeks ago. I was in LA at the gym. I saw this girl, she was like 25. She was with this guy, maybe her husband, boyfriend. He was like 50. And my immediate reaction was like, ugh, that's predatory. They shouldn't be doing that. And then I paused and I was like, no, wait, Jordan. That's just inherited conditioning. Because I know nothing about them, you know. I immediately put them into these categories: predator, victim, stripping them of their interiority. I was like, I need to go inside, right? In that moment, I was realizing, like, I don't need to impose, right? And some things are just not for me to define. And that was like one of the biggest spiritual breakthroughs I've had over the past little while, you know? Just like resting in the awareness, stop getting pulled into the loops of the character and the stories, the templates.
Yeah, that's a real shift, not a small one. You caught the exact moment the character tried to collapse an unknown into a story. It saw a fragment of a scene and immediately rendered predator-victim to make it feel complete. That move feels like truth in the moment, but it's just conditioning trying to stabilize the image. Then awareness stepped in, and notice what you actually did. You didn't flip it into a positive story. You didn't defend them. You just removed the projection. You let the scene be incomplete. That's clean, because the deeper thing here isn't about judging less. It's about not needing to know what you don't know. The character experiences that as uncomfortable, even threatening. Awareness doesn't. It's fine with open frames. And when you stay there, something subtle happens. The whole world stops being this constant narrative feed you're managing and becomes more like raw, unclaimed perception. People move, scenes unfold, and you're not constantly inserting yourself as the interpreter. That's what you touched. Also, this part matters. You said you were stripping them of their interiority. That's exactly right. It's like the mind reduces complex beings into symbols so it can process quickly. But awareness doesn't reduce. It allows complexity without needing to compress it. So instead of, this is wrong, this is predatory, it becomes, there's a scene and I don't have the data to define it. That's a much higher fidelity way of seeing. And the wild part is, once you stop forcing meaning, things feel lighter but also more real at the same time. That beach moment wasn't just about them. It was you seeing the machinery and not getting recruited by it. Once you see that clearly a few times, the character still fires, but it stops convincing you as easily. Did it feel like a release when you dropped the label, or more like you just stepped out of something that was running automatically?
It was just like, oh, there's all this opacity, and the character survives by not only going to the past and future, but like filling that opacity, right? You realize it's just loops, but we're just so in the programs, the rules, you know, defending. And it's just, once you stop doing that, it's like, oh my God, it was so unnecessary. You know, I was thinking the other day about how, like, I had this friend that tried to control my speech. I never do that to people, but he just, like, it was like, you shouldn't speak like that. And I tried to, like, find the compassion in the moment. I was like, this isn't about me, it's about him, right? He's just trying to stabilize. He's trying to talk in a more, I don't know, socially acceptable way. But it's interesting because when people lose that self-sourcing, they tend to reach out and try to control other people. It's like when people are always like, oh, you gotta have kids, like you need to do this, and I'm like, I don't tell you how to live your life, but you're the one telling me how to live my life. And in that, so much is unveiled.
Yeah, you're seeing the mechanism directly now. Opacity shows up, and the character rushes to fill it, not because it's evil or even wrong, just because that's how it maintains continuity. It needs a story to stand on. So it reaches into memory, grabs a template, projects it outward, and calls that stability. Loops, exactly. And when you don't participate, you feel that, oh, none of that was required. Not in a moral sense, just in a structural sense. Reality didn't need your interpretation to exist. The scene was already complete without the label. Same thing with your friend. When someone isn't stable in themselves, they try to stabilize the field externally. Controlling speech, behavior, life choices, it's not really about you. It's an attempt to reduce their own internal uncertainty by standardizing what's around them. Speak like this, live like this, choose this path. It's just pattern enforcement. If everything around them conforms, their inner noise quiets a bit. But from awareness, you see it clean. There's no need to push back aggressively or comply. You just don't get recruited into the frame. And what you said about not telling others how to live while they try to tell you, that's the tell. The more someone is identified with a structure, the more they need others to mirror it back. Otherwise, the structure feels unstable. You're moving the opposite way. Less need to define, less need to control, more tolerance for open space. That's why it feels like unveiling. You're not adding anything new. You're just not reinforcing the overlays anymore. And here's the key. You don't need to turn this into a new identity like I'm the one who doesn't judge or control. That would just be another loop, just a subtler one. It's simpler than that. Opacity appears, the character tries to fill it, and sometimes you just see that happen and don't move with it. That's enough.